Piazza Vittorio Veneto, Gran Piazza. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
The guys are gathering here in the piazza, which is the public square. Yeah, which is the meeting place. And welcome to the host city of the 2006 Olympic Winter Games, Turin, Italy. And as it turns out, Turin is also the gathering point for the 100th anniversary edition of the World Figure Skating Championships at the Palavella. And this is a post-Olympic championships, and we're going to see many stars gathered here today. As a matter of fact, on CBC, we'll begin our full coverage of these championships. We'll follow all the Canadian and international players as the last dance of the season gets underway. Historic Turin, this mecca on the threshold of the Italian Alps, has Olympic credentials as we set sail at the Palavella. Local Canadian heroes Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, victory in Vancouver, searching for world gold. American rivals Merrill Davis and Charlie White, silver at the Olympics, set to challenge for the top of the podium in northern Italy. Championship figure skating on CBC, presented by Artistry. 2010 World Championships from the Palavella in the Olympic city of Turin, Italy. Hi everybody, welcome inside the building. Scott Russell along with Olympic medalist Tracy Wilson. And you know, Tracy, in an Olympic season, the World Championships in figure skating are always interesting. It's a chance for the gold medalists at the Olympic Games to put an exclamation point on their season by winning a world title. And for others, for the young skaters, the next generation, a chance to step up and look ahead to the next 4 years and maybe the next games.
You're right, and it's so much fun to have a chance to look at some of the Olympic stars one more time in competition this season. But also those new skaters coming up, a lot of depth in figure skating, particularly in the men, redemption on the line for somebody like a Patrick Chan. These guys, they have their elbows out. They're hoping to knock off some of and establish themselves for the future of the sport going forward into the next Olympics.
What better way for us to begin 6 days of coverage than with the dance and the Canadian superstars Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, the Olympic gold medalists in Vancouver. For the compulsory dance, the crowd's a little thin at the Palavella, sold out for the free dance. But let's take a look at Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir. Look at this, they came home March 2nd, Pearson Airport in Toronto. They came bearing a gold medal. It was a glorious victory, resounding in fact at the Pacific Coliseum. But the one thing that has eluded them in their spectacular careers, Tracy, is a World Championship title.
A World Champion title, and it begins here with the compulsory dance. And as they were pushed in Vancouver for Olympic gold, Davis and White will also be pushing them here. Wonderful rivalry, bringing out the best in these competitors. These guys can't put a foot wrong. They have to do what they did in Vancouver, and so interesting. They won so many fans, but not just Canadian fans, by their performance there. Internationally, they've turned the world of ice dance upside down. A lot of excitement. People so excited of what Virtue and Moir did for the sport and what they're about to do.
We'll continue to watch that great and unfolding story. And joining us as always here at the Palavella is Brenda Irving.
Well, Scott and Tracy, as you know, it's been a whirlwind of a month for Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir. A week after the Olympic Games, they headed back to their training center in Canton, Michigan, where they started preparing for these World Championships. And they say the training time was short, but it was certainly very productive.
We've had 2 more weeks of training, and we feel like we're skating better than we were even before the games. So we had some great performances at the Olympics, but we feel that there's a little bit more to go, and this has always been in our plan, doing the World Championships. So this should be, this is it for this program. So we're just going to go out there and enjoy it.
There is one other Canadian team here in ice dance. That is teenagers Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier. They were 12th at the last World Championships, 14th at the Olympic Games. They will be sticking around for the next Olympics in Sochi, Russia. So they want to see themselves start to move up the world rankings, starting here in Turin, Italy.
Thanks, PJ. A look at the competitive list for the 2010 World Championships in the ice dance. It's strong with Olympic gold and silver medalists Tessa Virtue, Scott Moyer, Merrill Davis, and Charlie White represented. Notable absences: Dominina Chabalin, the bronze medalist in Vancouver, Tanith Belbin, and Ben Augusto, who won silver for USA here in 2006. That said, Tracy, it's a stellar field that begins the compulsory dance. What do we look for?
Well, we're looking at a golden waltz, and the steps in a compulsory dance are all set. They cannot be changed. And here's a look at the pattern that they make around the ice. The skaters travel in a counterclockwise direction. They will execute the pattern twice, and the challenge for the skaters is to get the second pattern as strong as the first pattern. The judges are looking for the skaters to have a lot of speed and flow, and the more speed you have, the deeper and more curvy the edges are that allow you to fit it into the rink. It's a very complex dance, and it's very important that the skaters skate with ease without any awkward movement changes. And finally, it is a golden waltz, a Viennese waltz, and so a lilting knee action is key to bring out the joyful feeling of the dance.
And here from the Scarborough Figure Skating Club are Canadians Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier. At their first Olympic Games in Vancouver in February, they finished 14th, but they were second, and a strong second at the National Championships to Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer. And their teenagers, Vanessa's 19, Paul's 18, and they've got lots of room to grow.
There are a list of compulsory dances that the skaters first take tests on and then train for competition. Each year, 2 are picked at the senior level and are rotated in competition. This year, the tango, you saw it at the Olympics, and the golden waltz here. For Vanessa and Paul, who are in their second year as senior competitors, this is the first time they've ever competed the golden waltz.
Coached by Carol and John Lane and Yuri Razguleyev. At the last World Championships in Los Angeles, their first senior worlds, they were 12.
One of the most complex dances. You see here the twisting and the turning, the dip section there. Vanessa going parallel to the ice. What these two do so well are the deep curves they make on the ice. The way you control the curves on the ice is by getting down in the knees, where you place your body, leaning out of the circle to help curve the edge around. Excellent wide step there. And that allows them also to strike onto a deep edge, the placement of the blade as they step on the ice. Well, for the first time out in the golden waltz, they look like old pros. Technically strong, artistically not quite as sophisticated in execution as some of the top skaters that you'll see coming up. As always, these guys well-trained, ready to compete. Vanessa and Paul.
Teenagers Vanessa Crone, Paul Poirier of Canada, center stage at the Palavella in Turin. From Turin, Italy. And another look at Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier in the compulsory dance.
Well, I like their philosophy in terms of competition and their training. They build a strong foundation based on good technique. There's the part of the dance where you're allowed to have some creativity at the beginning of the dance and at the end. But once the dance starts right here, you cannot change the steps at all. Take a look down here at the blades. You can see how close they are, how the edges are carving onto the ice, and a nice lilting knee to keep the flow going.
And there are Vanessa and Paul with their coach Carol Lane, their season's best coming in 31 and change. And here is a new season's best at the World Championships, 33.32, which will put Vanessa Krona and Paul Poirier currently second.
Thank you. Representing Great Britain, Sinead Kerr.
You know, there is a great British tradition in the ice dance. Jane Torval and Christopher Dean. How about Sinead and John Kerr, the brother-sister team from Edinburgh, Scotland. And they are making their 7th appearance, Tracy, at the World Championships.
And this is a very popular team because of their personalities. They're so easy to like and always bringing innovative choreography in the other portions of the competition. Please, will you dance with me? And remember, the beginning of the dance and the end, the skaters can create as they wish. But now, the steps begin. This was originally an original set pattern dance, similar to the OD. Choreographed by Natalia Dubova with Klimova Ponomarenko, the great Russian dance team. Sergei Ponomarenko, one of the original skater of this dance, is on the technical panel now judging. A little intimidating for the teams on the ice.
But hey, Sinead and John have great coaching. They train in New Jersey with Jenny Platov, who of course is the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, along with his partner Pasha Grischuk in '94 and '98.
See the knees, skating knees working there, helping to keep the speed and the rhythm of the dance. Judges watching the unison of the free leg to make sure that they're in exactly the same position. And the judges also watch the upper body for the unison. And a disadvantage for Sinead is that she's almost as tall as her brother. So when he goes down in his knees, it can look like their height difference is bouncing back and forth. It doesn't happen with the couples with the higher height difference. I liked the smoothness of that dance. Very, very precise. It floated.
Well, you know, they've been elites for quite some time. They were 8th at the Olympics in Vancouver. Now Sinead and John Kerr are trying to break through and get to the podium in Turin.
Great Britain, Sinead Kerr, John Kerr.
Right now, let's go backstage, and here's Brenda Irving.
This is the first time that Paul and Vanessa had competed the Golden Waltz, and you look like old pros out there. A season's best. What does that mean to start out so strong?
I think definitely we're very happy for getting a season's best on a dance that we haven't done before, and we really enjoyed ourselves out there, and we, did a solid performance, which is what we wanted to do. So we couldn't be any more happy than we are right now.
This has been a huge growth year for the two of you. How will you measure success here at these World Championships?
It's definitely difficult. I think last year we kind of went in with no expectation because it was our first year senior. And now, it being our second year senior, there's a little bit of expectation put on us. And I think what we need to do at this point is to keep improving. And what we're really looking for this competition is just to get lots of feedback from people saying that we've improved even from the Olympic Games 3 weeks ago. And if we hear that, we'll be really happy.
Well, congratulations on a great performance today, and good luck in the original dance.
Thank you very much.
Well, Sinead and John Kerr of Great Britain in the compulsory dance, and they hope it's what they need to launch themselves into contention.
As I said, it looked very smooth. You can see they're nice and close there, and they have a very relaxed hold. You see their arms, there's no tension. They're allowed to float with their upper body because technically they're right on with their lower body. Look at how close they are together. Very little room for air and a deep edge there. You can see the changing from one lobe to the other. Well done dance.
And coming up, the first set of results for Sinead and John Kerr of Edinburgh, Scotland. Their season's best heading in, 37.02. They will exceed that by a slight margin, 37.56. Vaults them into first place.
Great Britain are currently in first place.
They have had a great reception in Turin, and why not? Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir of Canada, the triumphant gold medal champions from the Olympics in Vancouver, and the heavy favorites to claim their first World Ice Dance Championship. But they need the strong compulsory dance to get going.
See the flow as they build into the opening corner. Gorgeous carriage across the ice. Look at the shapes of their back, the line of their necks, everything creating a shape and playing off the lilting knee and the curves of the edges.
What a rocket-like rise to prominence. 2006, Virtue Moir were the World Junior Champions. They had won World Championship silver in 2008 in Sweden. They were bronze in an injury-plagued season last year in LA, and now they dance as Olympic champions.
Expression is exquisite. Stately back line that makes you feel right at the top of the rink that they're playing to you and including you in their dance. Watch how they play with the timing on this circular step here.
Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, all Canadian from London and Ilderton, Ontario. The first steps, they hope, towards a world championship in Italy. And with their coaches, Marina Zueva and Igor Spielman, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, and their compulsory dance.
Their coach is very pleased with their dance. What really struck me was their use of their expression. Watch Tessa's back and her long, elegant neckline. You see, it's a lot of skaters there will get tense and seize up in the shoulders. Now we take a look at the feet, the opening rotational step. Exquisite detail, and they, better than anybody, use the full shape of their body to create a line that involves everybody in the arena in their performance.
Virtue Scott Moore from
Gold
Canada.
medal at their first Olympic Games. That's rarely done. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer looking for that first World Championship. And in the compulsory dance, 44.13. They just keep setting the bar.
42 was their season's best, taking it a notch further here at Worlds.
Thank you.
Nathalie Péchola and Fabien Bourza of France are both from Lyon, but they now train in Moscow with Alexander Zulin. These are the 2009 French national champions, and Tracy, this season are stepping out of the shadow of Isabelle Delabel and Olivier Schoenfelder, their French compatriots who were the 2008 world champions.
They were 5th at the World Championships last year, 6th at the Olympics behind their French teammates. These two are very well-rounded performers, strong technically, charming artistically.
And they've been hovering around the major championship podium for quite some time, and perhaps are considered to be strong contenders for a medal here in Turin.
I like this team, and they feel like they are on a verge of a breakthrough. It's whether they can put that together. Interesting costuming here. I don't think that his costume helps to show off his body lines. You see the jacket bunching around his shoulders. Instead of creating an elegant back, feels like his shoulders are hunching up, and I think that has much more to do with his jacket. Costuming, very important. You want to play to your strengths, hide your weaknesses. Good, strong, solid performance. I definitely got the feeling that they were down into their knees, right into the ice, kept the flow going throughout the two sequences.
By comparison, Nathalie Péchola and Fabien Bourza, the French, have made a short trip to get here. They hope they're going all the way to the podium at the Palavella. Don't forget the men's short program coming up tomorrow live from Palavella. CBC Bold has complete coverage beginning at 4:30 a.m. Eastern as Patrick Chan gets underway. Of course, PJ Kwong has the call. They have been the French national champions, and now they want to crack through on the international stage.
Complex choreography, intricate steps, so it's very difficult to build speed in this dance, and it's very easy to lose speed. And you can see they have great knee rhythm, up and down, and that allows you not only to get the character of the dance across, but it helps you to maintain your speed.
Coach Alexander Zulin to the right of the screen. The scores for Nathalie Péchola, Fabien Bourza of France, affirmative in terms of what they like. 37-7-5 for the French, and that will put them second behind the Canadians Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer.
Thank you.
Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer of Canada continue to lead after their compulsory dance. Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier, also Canadians, can be no lower than 9th after this stage of the competition. Meantime, here are threats to get to the podium. Yana Hoklova and Sergei Novitsky of Russia. She's 24, he's 28.
Skater. She is so strong technically. A lovely soft skating knee, very fluid, and again, great detail with her free leg and the point of her toe. Her partner partners her well in this dance. She is definitely the highlight for me in this performance.
They are, Tracy, the two-time Russian champions and won a bronze medal at the World Championships in Sweden in 2008, but dropped down to 9th at the Olympics in Vancouver, so trying to get back to prominence.
They're sort of the old style of Russian dance, and back from my era, if I can call myself old, with Vesmanova and Buchan, there is similar partnering, and everything is done to show off the female in the partnership. But it really catches them in the free dance, where she just outshines them to a degree that is imbalanced. However, a lot of fun to watch. With their teammates Domina and Shabalin out, they're center stage for Team Russia here.
Yana Hoklova and Sergei Novitsky, indeed, with the Olympic bronze medalist Shabalina Dominina out of the competition. Here is the Russian hope. With their coaches Alexander Zvinin and Irina Zhuk. And here are the scores for Hoklova, Novitsky, 37.87, a season's best going in. They are below that here to be third as the Canadians, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, continue to lead.
Thank you. America, Merrill Davis, Charlie White.
Well, sweet silver for Merrill Davis and Charlie White at the Olympic Games in Vancouver. They were second to Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, their training partners. However, Davis and White, the Americans, have their sights set on gold in Turin.
They have such a sensitivity to the music. It's the inspiration for everything that they do, and it allows the people in the audience and you at home to really get brought into their performance as they pick up the nuance of every beat, every phrase.
Tracy, you've often said that you can't win a championship with a strong compulsory dance, but momentum can develop. And Virtue Moyer have already scored a whopping 44.13, so Davis and White need to be close to that.
They do need to be close. And where these two are so successful, and I touch wood here, is they rarely ever make a mistake. They're such strong competitors, and that has served them so well this year in competition. They want to keep the battle alive right until the last minute of competition into the free dance. In this dance, they don't have the sensational lines that Tessa and Scott had, particularly with their back. Although it's very elegant, it's lilting and lovely, it just doesn't stand out and grab you in terms of the statuesqueness of Virtue and Moyer. Wow, what I love is the rivalry between these two teams, and you really see how they are stronger because of each other. Meryl and Charlie, delightful performers. A beautiful skate once again.
Two-time American champions Meryl Davis and Charlie White, star-spangled skaters from USA at IASK. Meryl Davis and Charlie White are coached by Marina Zueva and Igor Spielband, as are Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer.
And you can only look this relaxed when your technique is perfect, as theirs is. So well trained. Coaches Marina and Igor make sure all the details are taken care of before they come out to compete, so they can truly dance and be in the moment in an event like this one. Feet very close together. You can see they're kind of snuggling their skates as they step. They've skated together for many years, as Virtue and Moyer have, so they don't have to wonder where their partner is or what their partner is going to do. They know they skate as one.
Big smiles now for Meryl Davis and Charlie White. They've got a lot to deal with. A 44.13 by Virtue and Moyer. They are 43.25, so put the Americans in the hunt, snuggled in right behind Virtue and Moyer.
Thank you.
Tremendously experienced and well-supported Federica Faiella, Massimo Scali of Italy. Both are from Milan and now train partly in Detroit, Michigan. There are the fans on their side. Part of their coaching staff, Natalia Linachuk, the 1980 gold medalist in Lake Placid.
Well, after watching Davis and White, who are like machines in their consistency in competition, these two are the direct opposite. A ton of talent, fiery personalities, but mercurial in terms of their performance in competition. This is the best I've ever seen them look this season, so a bronze medal at least is teed up perfectly for them at home in Torino.
Faiella and Scali came close to the podium in Vancouver at Pacific Coliseum. They were fifth at the end of the day.
They were to be the top team heading into the Olympics here in 2006, and then Ujarpoli and Margalio came back into competition, took these two out of the spotlight, and they had a lot of problems in that competition, a nasty fall in the original dance. This year they seem to have reinvented themselves and really addressed their issues in the training rink, which has helped them to compete so much better.
Yes, at those Olympics in '06, when the Italians who were the bronze medalists at the 2002 Olympics, returned. These two had to share their coaches with the others, and that led to all kinds of strife and frustration.
Peshelat and Borzad of France are sitting in the third position right now. I thought their dance appeared stronger technically, but these two have the elegant waltz line, a very precise performance artistically. It looked like a little oops there at the end, but by this point the judges should have their heads down marking.
Federica Faiella, Massimo Scali of Italy. They have the crowd on their side. There's no doubt about that. But can they catch the French, Peshelat Bourza, who are in third right now? Davis White of the United States are second to Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer of Canada, who, riding a wave with a 44-1-3, sit in first place at the Palavella after the compulsory dance.
I think they had a few words with each other when they finished, going, what happened? What did you just do? A little bit of a glitch at the end of the performance, but they, and in particular her skirt, covered it up well. And that should not be costly in the marks at all. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He just gets out there. He loves to perform, pushes it to the limit, and sometimes past the limit. So they have to find that perfect balance in this competition.
She's 29 years of age. Massimo Scali is 30. And they hope they've done enough here to give themselves a good launching pad in the compulsory dance for the rest of the competition.
Elegantly costumed, and you see his jacket has very clean lines, no bunching up, and I really believe that helps. Frederica also a very strong back, and you can see the tilt of her neck. Not quite as relaxed as Tessa and Scott, but I thought this was a lovely performance and really got the feel of the dance across. The one area where I thought the French were a little bit stronger was when it came to the skating knee and how they pushed and pressured the ice to continue the flow. Oh, and there's the little problem at the end of the dance. As I said, I think the skirt covered up a multitude of sins there at the end.
There they are with their coaches, Natalia Linachuk, who is on the right side of your screen, Paula Nazadri in the left side of the screen. Here is the season's best, and it's new 40.85 for Federica Faiella, Massimo Scali, and that puts them into a solid third place. So the results at Palavella after the compulsory dance: the Canadians, the Olympic gold medalists Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, are in first place, followed by Merrill Davis and Charlie White of the United States. Faiella Scali of Italy are third. The other Canadians, Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier, in solid position in ninth. Right now, backstage to Brenda Irving.
Well, for Tessa and Scott, this was their first competitive dance as Olympic champions. Did that make it easier or harder today?
I don't know. We're kind of trying to leave that in a couple weeks ago, and we're looking at the future now. And this World Championships is a huge event for us. We've never been world champions, so it's kind of another step on our journey to reaching our goals, I guess.
You learned so much from the Olympic Games competing. What will you take from that, or what did you take from that will help you this week, do you think?
Well, there was a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, and all the emotions are heightened at the Olympic Games. Everything is so intense, so, you know, the highs are extremely high and the lows are even lower. So I think we just learned how to manage that, and we created our own little bubble, and, you know, we are so focused on our job, and we can take that into this event as well.
Tessa Virtue, Scott Moyer, Olympic champions.